Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Vertical Events, for the opportunity to present today. We do think we have one of the highest grade cobalt targets anywhere in the world today. We're in British Columbia, and it's called the Little Gem. We're actively drilling, and that's the main focus of the presentation today. We listed Blackstone Minerals in January 2017 on our 3 Australian assets. They are gold and nickel exploration in Western Australia, and it was the Little Gem project in British Columbia that really excited the market when we acquired Little Gem halfway through last year. And very quickly we were drilling, and our first intercept drilled 3% cobalt and 44 grams per tonne gold. And that confirmed that we do have one of the highest grade cobalt projects in the world. Weighted average grade of all the data we have to date is 3% cobalt and 20 grams gold. So this first hole was very important because it confirmed the high grade nature of the ore system, and very quickly we were able to show the market that we do have some of the highest grades. We will talk a little bit about the West Australian assets, but the focus of the company at the moment is on the Little Gem project. We're listed on the ASX, just under 100 million shares on issue, share price of 42 cents, so around 40 million market cap. You can see the share price appreciation when we picked up the Little Gem in halfway through the year. We finalised the deal late last year, and very quickly we were drilling, and it was that first intercept that really excited the market. We've tended to drift lower over the winter season, and we're now drilling again, and the market's starting to appreciate that, and we're starting to move in the right direction. Board and management hold 26%. The Little Gem acquisition was a scrip deal, so the vendors, you can see Coalstar and Goldbridge also hold large positions in the company. The board and management team, 20 years of working together, multi-million ounce discoveries in West Africa. So Hamish Halliday, the founder of Adamas, very big discovery in West Africa. Eventually that asset was taken over by Endeavour Mining and still mined today. Steve Parsons had a very similar history of big multi-million ounce discoveries in West Africa with Griffin Minerals that was eventually taken over by Teranga. And a team of seasoned geologists with a history of big discoveries and corporate success, taking very small companies and making them into hundreds of millions of dollar market cap companies, and then moving them towards takeovers. My background was an underground mining engineer in the Western Australian goldfields, and then went into sell-side broking as an analyst for a few years, and now back in the mining side. So Little Gem, we're in a first world jurisdiction, British Columbia, one of the best locations to be mining anywhere in the world. We're in a historic mining district. 4.4 million ounces have been mined at 17 grams per tonne. This is the most prolific gold region in British Columbia, and one of the most prolific gold regions in Canada. The Little Gem prospect was discovered in the 1930s, and we think the prospectors were looking for gold, and the cobalt is actually the reason why they've left this behind. They've only tested a very small area of the overall potential of Little Gem. We have some existing data, so there's a lot of historic drilling. You can see some very high grades in that historic drilling. We've got some adit channel sampling results and some very high grade massive sulphide zones running 3 to 5% cobalt and very high grade gold, up to sort of 70 and 100, up to 100 grams per tonne gold. The really interesting part is that the disseminated sulphides are also carrying very high grade cobalt, sort of 0.5 up to plus 1% cobalt, and very high grade golds through the disseminated zones. And it's the disseminated zones that are really interesting for us, because that's going to give us the potential scale that might deliver an underground mine at Little Gem. So this was our first hole. You can see there's There's a number of different types of mineralisation. The red zones you can see are where the massive sulphides kick in. The disseminated zone is still running 0.5% cobalt for 4 to 5 grams per tonne gold, and it's those disseminated zones that we're really interested in because we think that's what potentially can give us some serious scale. So this is a cross-section of that first hole. Unfortunately, that hole was abandoned. The drill rig we were using wasn't fit for purpose and didn't actually get all the way through the target zone. We're actually now drilling again. We've got one hole under this hole, and we went all the way through the target zone. We kept going another 100 metres from the start of that target zone. So it was very impressive to see that we're still in alteration 100 metres past the start of that target zone. We've also got another hole above this. So we've got 2 holes in the assay labs now, and hopefully we can hit some similar grades to what we're seeing in that first hole. So this is a plan view of the little gem. You can see we've got 300 metres of strike along, and that's mapped out at surface. The adits have only tested that very small area through the middle, which is around 50 metres of the strike. Those adits have stopped in ore, and we think that the reason they've stopped is the cobalt was a negative to them and they were looking for the gold-only system. The fact that the cobalt was with the gold, we think, is the reason why they've left this behind. So we're now drilling, and we're on this point here. We're drilling across from the other side of the hill, where we'll try and test as much of that strike, that 300 metres of strike over these first 6 holes. And very quickly we think we can define something that might have some scale to be a potential underground mine. Outside of that 300 metre zone, so the 300 metre zone sits in the middle. We've now got 1 kilometre out to the east and half a kilometre to the west with cobalt and gold anomalism in stream sediments. So we now have a 1.8 kilometre strike potential at Little Gem. Once we acquired Little Gem, we did some work around this type of geology, and we've come across the Bouazier mine in Morocco. This is the only primary cobalt mine in the world. They've been mining cobalt for 75 years, and today they've still got a head grade of 1.3% cobalt. So to put that in perspective, that's over 10 times the average grade of anything in Australia. And we have the exact same geological contact. So you can see the serpentinite is on the contact of the quartz diorite. It's exactly the same geological setting that we have in British Columbia. So that gives us confidence that we potentially have a belt scale opportunity. There's over 50 deposits through this Bouazier district, and it also has high-grade gold through their system as well. Once we realised this, so the original acquisition at Little Gem was just around the existing adits and the existing Little Gem. Once we realised this geological analogy to Bouazier, we pegged the whole belt where that particular setting occurs, which is this contact through here, which is the serpentinised ultramafic and the quartz diorite. So we now have 48 kilometres of that geological setting, which is the same setting as in the Bouazier mine, which is is the only primary cobalt mine in the world and a world-class cobalt district. So to put all this in perspective, it's always good to bring things back to an in situ value per tonne, which is basically grade times commodity price. You can see we've got the highest grade mineralisation across the peer group, and we've got one of the lower market caps at this stage, and we think that with continued to hit these types of mineralised intercepts, we will re-rate towards the left of the screen. So just quickly on our Australian assets, we have 3 early stage exploration assets. We have Silver Swan South project, which is along strike of Kanowna Belle. We have the Red Gate project, which is near Saracen's Porphyry deposit, and we have Middle Creek, which is near Millennium's Nullagine project. So just recently, we've made it what we think is an emerging gold discovery along strike of Kanowna Belle, 5 million ounces at 7 to 8 grams per tonne. Kanowna Belle is one of Australia's best underground mines, currently owned by Northern Star. We've hit 10 metres at 3.2 grams per tonne, but more importantly, we've got a geochem signature it's large enough to show potential for a large ore body. You can see Kanowna Belle footprint is the same size as our geochem signature. Very similar intercepts to the discovery holes at Kanowna Belle. So just back to Little Gem as we sum up. The rig's currently sitting here. We're drilling across. We're stepping out very aggressively, very quickly. We'll know whether Little Gem's an underground mine. If it is an underground mine, it's worth a lot of money in the current market. It is some of the highest grade cobalt you'll see anywhere in the world. So just to sum up, Little Gem, historic results are saying 3% cobalt and 20 grams per tonne gold. That's well over 2 ounce per tonne on a gold equivalent basis. Our first hole confirmed that those grades are real, and our data set is showing we have the highest grades in the world. We're the first company to ever explore for cobalt in this belt, and the first company to look for base metals and to see that analogy with the Bouazid geology in Morocco. We've also got some additional exposure through the West Australian gold and nickel assets. We've got the proven track record of big discoveries and corporate success. And hopefully the Little Gem is the next part of that successful story, which has been exploring for over 20 years as a team. And hopefully, Little Gem can be the next one. Thanks for your time.